Hotel history is created for adult audiences. Content may not be suitable for all listeners. Discretion is advised. You're listening to Hotel History. We take you with us through the sordid history and scandals of some of the world's most famous and infamous hotels. I'm Dieta.
And I'm Yael. Let's get started.
Welcome back. Today we are talking with Monica and Angela, the founders of Hotel Who. So why don't you guys just kind of jump in, tell us a little bit about yourselves and what Hotel Who is.
Hotel Who is it's a highly immersive and interactive dance theater experience that is site specific. So we started doing shows in hotels. We do them in hotels. We do them in various different locations, even places like a castle in Hollywood. There's always a high level of interactivity in our shows. So, whether it's solving a murder mystery or going on a treasure hunt to put ingredients together for an anecdote, whatever it may be. There's always a high level of interactivity for the guests that join.
Yeah, Hotel Who, it's just basically our child in a sense. Our immersive interactive dance theater dining experience overnight child. I don't know. We're on different time zones, so you have to forgive me a little bit. I'm in Berlin, 6 p.m.
We were hoping you would carry this. You're the most awake one of all of us.
I've been sitting in this chair for too long, though. It's a problem. And just to follow up on that, I think Hotel Who is also almost like a quest or a finish of research that Monica and I have been doing for like the past 15 years or so. We both come from a classical dance background, and we both created work together in Europe. I still live in Berlin. Monica's moving back to Europe. And we've always been curious about making dance approachable or figuring out a way to make art approachable, essentially. So we've always been fascinated with moving audiences around and blurring the line between the audience and the performer, making the audience a performer. What does that mean? How does it change the story? And then once we came up with this concept, it was just a matter of what kind of venue could we put it in so that the venue also was a character, essentially.
So what can someone who has never been, who's going to attend for the first time, what can they expect? Should they prepare for anything?
They should prepare for everything, kind of. I guess being open and willing is the most important thing about going to one of our experiences. But I mean, sometimes people like to watch from the side, like a white wallflower, maybe. But yeah, we give out characters to our guests. And this season we have characters. Last two shows we didn't give out characters unless it was the VIP ticket. But this season, every guest has a character. So we try to get those out as soon as possible. And sometimes we have some technical difficulties, but in essence, they can prepare by being their character.
Very cool. So what kicked off the idea for this? Like what was the kind of the situation that suddenly made you guys go, okay, we have these ideas, we want to do all of these things. What helped it coalesce into Hotel Who?
Angela and I have been making work together. So we've been making work together for a long time, as Angela was saying. We started 15 years ago in college, and we've always loved making work together. We've gone to artist residencies, and we've done a lot of research and things like that. And then at some point when I was living here, we were talking about wanting to make a show, and we were like, we really want to, into what we were doing before, but kind of now that we've had a lot more experience and we're older, how do we expand on these ideas that we have, and how do we make something that is not just a show that we're just making for ourselves anymore, but like something that we can share with a wider audience, an audience that might not go to a theater show otherwise. How can we do something that is approachable and still keep the integrity of our work, but be able to share this kind of thing with people that may be, may not opt to see a theater show on their own. And so we were talking, and we were like, oh, we both really love crime. And so like, oh, what if we did a murder mystery? How would that, like, how would we go about doing that? And then we started talking about venues and all the different things that we could do. And then Angela actually was like, well, what if they spent the night and it was at a hotel? And what if the guests just slept over and solved the murder the next day? And I was like, oh my God, that's really cool. And so that's where, we started thinking about hotels, and then it took off from there.
I remember us being in a car together one day, and I visited Monica in LA. I think it was in 2021. Yeah. And she had already been talking about this idea with her husband about doing shows in these mansions in Hollywood. What would it look like to make like a private event, cater it to like a house and a family or a group of friends? And then also reflecting on this overnight idea, there's this artist in Paris who, I think he was doing his show in Paris, and it was a 24-hour show at an opera. His name was Jan Farber. And I thought, like, okay, yeah, it's really cool, but like, who the hell is gonna like actually go to a show for 24 hours? Do you sleep in the theater? Like, what is that, And then somehow this idea came out with the hotels, and we both love hotels and like the history in hotels and stuff like this too. I'm a big history, like archive nerd. And I also love like this You Be the Jury book, because I'm raised by a lawyer, and I grew up reading these books where you have to pick decide if he's guilty or innocent, and you're the jury. So that was also kind of an inspiration.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I see how that goes. Yeah. I have a question. Have you guys ever heard of there's a interactive immersive experience thing kind of in New York called Sleep No More, I believe.
Yeah.
And Mia Wolf.
Meow Wolf?
Meow Wolf.
Meow Wolf.
I'm so bad with the names. These are like the two that pop in my head. And there was another so it's very interesting that this kind of like popped up into my life, because a few years back, I remember my ex-boyfriend was very into immersive experiences. He was an artist, he was doing stuff like that. And he went to this experience in London that was like, he told me about it. It was like, you go in and everything is kind of Mad Max themed. And like, it was like you went into a different world. And then like, COVID happened. I think these things just like went away, but now they're like coming back up. And obviously you guys are creating these really cool experiences. So I want to know if you have ever gone to anything like that or heard of them. You're already shaking your head to most, so I want to know what you guys think of them.
Yeah, we definitely know about these experiences for sure. I mean, we're in the world, so we kind of like we've always known, the big names, and then also some of the other things that pop up as well. I personally, I've gone to Sleep No More. I went right before the world shut down for the pandemic. I had to go, I was sent there for work and to New York to go like check it out and check out some other interactive or immersive theater shows. So been to Sleep No More. I haven't been to Meow Wolf, but it seems really cool. The design there looks amazing. And I've been to a few other ones. I've been to one in London that was, I think it's literally just called The Great Gatsby. But it is an immersive Gatsby experience, which is really cool too. So yeah, I've been to a bunch.
Yeah, I've been to some too, but I've been a little bit more behind the scenes, I think, than Monica. And like, I've been maybe working more and then less as an audience. But yeah, we really, we have gathered some inspirations from said places, but we like to also incorporate activities for our guests to do. We started with headphones, actually, having instructions on headphones, but now actually Monica brought up a funny point that phones don't have this headphone slot anymore, because so we can't really do this. But yeah, that I think, is like a step one, but we're also kind of inspired from like escape rooms, for example. So trying like combining these two ideas of like immersive experiences, but not just feeling the immersion, like things are going on around you, but you have to do things. And that's how it's more interactive too.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
immersive experience, escape rooms and immersive experiences, but escape rooms are like my jam. I'm obsessed.
Yeah, I really so Yael and I got to go to your most
Yeah.
recent Hotel Who and
Thank you, by the way.
loved it. Yes, thank you so much. It was so great. And I really did appreciate not just like we were immersed in it, we were interacting, but also it felt very much like the movie Clue, kind of that style, because all of this stuff is going on around you. And if you're not in the right place at the right time, you might miss a little performance or something that gives you a clue or some information that you might need. So everybody there is having a different experience and has different information than you do. And that just makes it feel even more like you really are trying to solve a mystery and you don't have the same puzzle pieces that everybody else has, which I really loved. I thought that was just chef's kiss.
It was so well done. And just to let everyone know that the one we went to is their most current one. It is based in a castle, and I don't want to give too much away. Like even when I was creating the video that I was making, I had some video of some scenes, and I'm like, I'm not gonna put it in because I don't want to give anything away. Like I want it to be surprise for anyone who goes personally. So if you're wondering why there were some things missing, in that video, but it's based in the 1930s. The only part of the 1930s I'd ever want to go back to is that.
Yeah. So why don't you guys kind of, since we're talking about it, just kind of give us the barest description that you can of what the current Hotel Who experience is.
It is based in a castle in Hollywood. The castle is a really interesting place. Well, without deviating too far into like the details, this one is it's a murder mystery in a castle that was it's set in 1933. It's a murder mystery where you play a character as well. So which is honestly, Angela's been creating all we like sold out last weekend, and Angela had to come up with more characters because they were like people like getting to last second, and Angela's like, all right, I got 10 more characters I have to make.
So do you guys create every single character?
Yeah, Angela's
Oh, wow.
this one.
Yeah, we had 14 people that were like, I think I'd made like 56 characters or something for last weekend, and then we had 14 more people on Thursday, and I was just like, oh my god, like I cannot with these freaking characters anymore. I'm gonna lose my mind.
That is so impressive. Like I didn't know if you guys created them together or if like you had a team, like maybe you were farming some of it out too. That's crazy.
And I think last time we both made them, but this time we just had so many other different moving parts. And since I'm not in LA, yeah, I can't be on site to do a lot of things. So I took that responsibility, to do all of them.
Well, you did a good job.
Yeah, you really did. I loved my character.
What was your character again?
I got to be the daughter of a mafia boss.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you had a really good character.
Yeah.
You were the daughter of you were the daughter of the prime minister of the Kingdom of Hungary, no?
Are you Jaja?
Oh no, I was Carla.
Jaja Gabor.
Oh, Carla. Okay, I forgot about her. Yeah, sorry. Who are you, Yale?
I was Violet the pilot.
Violet the pilot. We loved
Yeah,
so much.
I didn't have much of a backstory, but it was okay because I want to apologize now. I took an edible before I went to the event.
You looked high. I was like, is she now?
I was okay. Hear me out. I took a very small one. I didn't want to get high at all. I was like, oh, this is 2 milligrams, whatever. I don't know what is in this edible. It hit me, but it wasn't like I was super high, but it gave me the giggles. And so I became paranoid about it. And then I kept on messing up everything. First of all, I didn't know that I had to read the description before. And it's like, you didn't read your character? I'm like, what do you mean? And so one of the characters was like, what's your name? I'm like, Yael. She's like, no, what are you talking? That's not a name. And I'm like, sorry, my name is Daisy. And then Deanna's like, no, that's your real name. Or that's your fake name. I kept on messing up the name. And then
So funny.
That's
And then I
literally the
felt-
name that it says. Don't tell anybody this name.
and then it just like threw me off. And then I went up to a person and I was like, are you, I was looking for one of
Tom,
the
I think.
Tom. I'm like,
Yeah.
are you Tom? He's like, no. And I'm like, I don't need to talk to you. And I walk away and I'm like, wait, was he an actor? And everyone's like, no. I'm like, oh.
That's so funny.
Then I saw him and other people do the same thing. I think we were all like, I don't need to talk to you. You're not. And then poor Tom, or I don't know his real name, was so good. He deserves an Oscar because when he was talking to me, I couldn't stop laughing. And he's like, what is wrong with you?
That's hilarious.
But
And she couldn't remember what question, like her card told her to ask him some specific questions, and she couldn't remember what they were. And he was like, did you have any more questions for me? And she was like, I don't know.
do you have a question for me? I'm like, no.
That's really funny. Yeah, we also on Saturday we had a great Violet the pilot who there was someone there writing a review, and I read in his review article that Violet the pilot knew like everyone's name, the character, like the guest characters from this like introduction that happens at the beginning of the show. Like she
Wow.
also showed up in a pilot outfit apparently, and I just thought it was hilarious because also on her character card it says alleged pilot, so it's just so
He
stupid.
committed to the bit. I'm sorry.
Love it.
didn't
I
do
love
that.
it.
I was Violet the pilot, her alter ego, crackhead pilot.
It's so funny. Yeah, you were looking for the missing parts in the frolic room for sure.
Yeah.
I was I'm so sorry. I felt like I was paranoid from him. Like, why did I do this? This wasn't because I didn't want to drink really,
Yeah.
but I wanted to have a good time. Big
Mhm.
mistake.
Have a good time though. When I spoke with you, you were like giggly, and I was like, oh, I think she's a little stoned. Like her.
But here's the thing. I get giggly drunk too.
Mhm.
So I'm a very happy, like when I'm intoxicated, you never have to worry about me. I'm like on cloud nine.
Having
It's
the
great.
best time.
Yeah. But I think, you know what? I challenged your actors a little bit. And I have to say, you guys did an amazing job casting them. They
They're
really
so
were
good.
so good. They were so, and you can tell they were having such a good time playing their character. Like, that must be a dream role if you're an actor.
They're really amazing. I mean, like, because we'll come up with like a storyline, and of course, like the little details and the intricacies of like the the murder and all of that stuff that we have to plan, create beforehand. And of course, like there's a script and that, but there is so much space and there's so much for them like to come up with and to add and to fill in, because there's a lot of improvisation and there's a lot of time that they're interacting with guests that they're just so good. Like you can literally throw anything at them and they'll stay in character, and they're amazing. They do this for like several hours too, because it's like 4 hours. They never break. It's crazy. And
No.
they're so into it that sometimes after a show, they'll kind of like they'll be back to themselves, but they'll do things, and then the next day they'll tell me like, oh, it wasn't me who did that, it was my character who did that. And so, like they get really in it.
You can feel it. Like, I want to say stuff, but I don't want to give anything away. But one of the characters, she was walking around and she was just like, I looked at her and she's like, what? She just
That is
in a good way. This is like a good, like she was obviously drunk or whatever. And she's just like, what are you looking at? She's like, I need a lighter. Anyone have a lighter? And I'm like pretending like I'm looking for a lighter. And she's like, it was so good. Like she didn't need, you can tell that wasn't I don't think on the script or anything.
Yeah.
We've been working with 2 of them since our first show last October, and our first show in LA. Mathieu, the medium, Gregorian, and Lisa. So Mathieu, how do you say Mathier's last name? Do you know?
I think it's
Bartowski?
Bartoszewski or I think
No.
Bartoszewski.
He's
I'm
from
not sure.
Poland
I asked him once,
originally.
but I think I'm butchering it right now.
Yeah. And Lisa was the manager, and then Ramond, Thomas, Alessandra Perdedici, and Holly Sidecheck are the other 3 actors we started working with in April for Love Story. And we just really worked. I mean, everyone from Love Story also was amazing, but we just wanted a smaller team. And yeah, we just really found something a little special, I think, with these people, because they really get it, and they really support it, and they really are open, and like we just are able to like really connect with them, and that's really important from creator, because we also we list them as artistic collaborators in the program, so it's an enjoyable process for everyone. Alessandra was Anna, and Holly, or Anna, and Holly was Irina.
Well, they actually started saying Anna and Irina lately, by the way.
Because it's really funny, because the whole time I'm imagining that their names were Anna and Irina Ivar. And then I heard this rehearsal video one day, and she said Ivor, and I was like, what?
Oh,
like,
yeah,
we're
but
in the
you
United
pronounce it
States.
different
It's not
ways.
Germany. It's not German.
Ivar? I've been saying Ivar.
Nice.
Castle Ivar Castle. Or I guess
like
everyone
that.
has a different pronunciation, but you can tell, you got a sense that there was such good vibes. Like everyone likes each other. They're working so well with each other. It was all good, right? Like, I don't know if Deanna, you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But
It was so good.
also back to the characters. I just want to say my friend who came, because we were supposed to have someone come and help take pictures, but that person flaked on us. So I asked my friend to come and help with the content. And she didn't have a character because you guys didn't know she was coming, really. And I thank you for all that, like dealing with that. But she ended up making up her own character. And she's blonde. And so I was like, you look like Veronica Lake. So she went as Veronica, and she made up she was apparently an escort. She was so good. She was talking to everyone, and the story just evolved throughout the night, and she just became this actress who was also an escort.
Yeah, that's kind of how it got started, actually, because I remember at Normandy last year, people were like making their own characters for themselves, and then we were like, wait, we should make characters for them, and then we can like tell them to do stuff that will be incorporated in the story.
Yeah, that ties into like what we used to do with the headphones. So to allow for when like years ago when we were making stuff in Europe, we would give the audience a pair of headphones. So you'd have like someone wear headphones, and then on the headphones they would get like audio instructions to do things. So, you might be told, and there would be music as well. So there would be like a whole track that they're listening to, but there's also performers in the space. And then they would be told to do things like, for example, Angela did something where someone was told to, on the headphones, to pour water on like one of the performers during a scene. That made sense. It sounds
No, that sounds fun.
It's not usually that bad. Like it was just like, it was a one scene thing. So it was a summer scene. The piece was about seasons.
You didn't do it when it's like freezing outside and the actor's shivering.
No, I don't like
That'd be so mean.
There's another example where we had instructions to give someone on headphones where we had to dance together, for example, or I was trying on a wedding dress and this person was like my alleged fiance or whatever, and I had to do a dance with him.
Come on, put the wedding dress on. Come on, zip it up.
Wow, I love that though. I wonder. I guess each event you make, you experiment a little bit, and it's a little different. But that they all sound amazing. I wish I knew about this earlier, because So last year you did it at the Normandy, you said. So, but then last year you did that one, and then also at the Biltmore. So that was like a couple months apart.
Yeah, technically we've made 3 shows in 1 year exactly. So it's completely insane.
Wow, overachievers much.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Especially the one at the Biltmore was really big, right? Like it was
Yeah, the
a
Biltmore was.
big to do. So that was a lot of work to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The Biltmore,
I think-
I that one looked really cool too. I like the 1950s theme. It was. Yeah.
Mhm.
That one was really fun. That one was not a murder mystery, but there was still a mystery to solve. That one was kind of a musical. And it was like West Side Story meets Midsummer Night's Dream. Um it was,
Cool.
it was fun. I thought it was really fun. It's very different from the murder mystery stuff that we normally, or I wouldn't say normally, I mean anything's possible, but from the murder mystery stuff that we started doing and then this murder mystery show, I guess it was more of like an experiment too, just kind of see like what does the LA audience think about an immersive musical. But it was really, really fun, and it was really fun to make. And like we love also creating, like we had a lot more choreography and things like that, and there did in a sock hop. So there was also like some choreography at the top, and that was just so much fun to create. And you had to find the ingredients to an antidote, because basically the groom, he was like put under a love spell and he was in love with like the wrong person and break the spell. It was a whole thing, and then you had to you had to find all the pieces to the antidote at the sock hop. It's so that one was, yeah, very different. And I think with like the murder mysteries, that's also fun in its own way, because it's the creating murder mystery and figuring out a way to make it solvable but not too easy and not too hard is very intricate in and of itself too. And it's almost like we have to create 2 different shows in one, because we create like the show and the script and the storyline. So there's one thing for the actors and all of that, but then there's this other thing where we have to also create the experience and the show for the guests as well. Like, how are they, living within this world? How are they solving this mystery? How are they interacting with the performers? So it's almost like 2 shows come together as one, and they kind of like, and we're also, moving them, and we want to kind of guide everyone on their experience. And so yeah, it's almost like creating like 2 in one.
It's a lot of work. The fact that you guys do it's really impressive, and it's inspiring, because it's great. You guys are 2 creative people, came together, like as you said, it's your baby, and I totally relate. We totally relate to that, because this podcast is our baby, and so it's like it's amazing to see that there are other people like that out there that are just like, hey, I have an idea, let's do it. I think it's really rare, because what I'll find in the world is people have really great ideas and they're like, we can't. There's too many obstacles. And I'm like, did you try? Did you just call up and ask? Like, what's the harm in putting yourself out there? And you guys have done such a good job. So.
Well, so what goes into planning and writing each whenever it's time to start a new one from scratch?
Ange and we're best friends. So I wouldn't say that we have such a concrete, like organized, like, okay, step 1. It's like, it's very organic. We go back and forth a lot. We actually do a lot of like texting, voice notes, video calls. I'm really excited to be back on the other side, because we'll be in the same time zone. Because like right now it's been like Angela will wake up to 50 voice notes for me, and then I'll wake up to 50 voice notes from her. And like, I feel
It must be
creative.
hard.
Yeah. Do you guys use Marco Polo? My friends and I that are in different time zones, we use that, where it's basically like you can send videos back and forth to each other and just watch it at your leisure. And so, yeah, it's really helpful for brainstorming stuff and being able to talk your idea out without having to like send 15,000 texts.
Yeah, we usually use like WhatsApp messages.
Oh, I use WhatsApp for everything also.
Like voice notes. We're big on
Voice-
voice notes. Yeah.
How far away is Budapest to Berlin?
It's a 9-hour drive, an hour flight.
Is there a train connecting?
12-hour train ride.
12-hour train
A
ride.
12-hour train ride?
Yeah, but it's not so bad. It's really nice. It's like a nice ride, just going through the mountains and stuff.
Why did I think it was like very close by? I thought all of Europe is 2 hours away on train.
Berlin is really north.
Oh,
It's really
okay.
north. Like it gets
Oh,
dark here at like 4 p.m.
that sucks. Actually, my friend lives in Antwerp. That's where she's from, and
Yeah.
I visit her in January one time. I don't know why I did this.
Oh my God.
God,
Um,
so dark.
I was on my way to Israel where my family was having like we were all gathering for a family thing and we stopped. I'm like, hey, I'm right in near Europe. Let me go there. And so like it was 9 a.m. The sun came out behind the clouds. And then
The
4
sun.
p.m. the sun went down.
For
behind
those
the
listening,
clouds.
the sun is
The
definitely
sun
in air
quotation.
quotes.
And it was disgusting out all the time.
Mhm. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
I usually like leave. I'm already planning my escape for the winter season. I've recently become very infatuated with the Canary Islands, and its tagline is Europe's Caribbean. It's like 75 degrees there in the winter, and it's perfect.
Yeah, you should leave.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie, like it's because I'm from New York, so I'm like, yeah, winter, whatever. At least we have sunlight.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There are days you can see the sun. Like actually, my favorite days is when it's really, really cold and windy, but like it's super bright and sunny out.
Yeah.
Antwerp doesn't have that.
Nope.
No.
Nope. Neither does the Netherlands. I lived in that for several years. It was awful. Budapest has
That's
that.
sad.
It has like very New York weather, 4 seasons. It's like basically the same as New York. So, but yeah, no, the gray and the non-sun, the sun coming out behind the clouds and then going back of yeah, it's
What's happening now, which is incredibly annoying, it does this thing where, and then we can move on, I'm sorry, but it does this thing at like 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning where the sun is like full blast. Like you're like, oh my God, it's sunny outside. And then you're like, okay, yeah, cool, it's sunny. And then like an hour passes and it's completely overcast.
It's like you see the
needs to
sun, and then
change
the
this?
time it takes you to get your socks and shoes
Yeah,
on, it's gone.
no. Yeah.
It's a trick. It's
I know. And what's also crazy is that Angela's such a sun lover. Like she's like, give me a beach, give me an ocean, give me the sun. Like, oh, it's always the sun, the sun, the sun. And so the fact that like Angie, you're living in such a gray place right now is just it's crazy.
yeah, if you're a sun lover, come to LA.
Yeah. What took you to
No.
Berlin?
Expensive. Yeah, I was living in New York before when we finished school, and Monica was like, we both graduated, and Monica moved to Budapest, and then I moved to New York, just because I didn't really know where else to go at that moment. And then I was like, this sucks. Like, I knew I didn't really want to live there because I was already going there all the time leading up to my graduation. New York is very familiar. It doesn't feel as like exciting, and also the dance scene is just like, I don't know, I had some bad experiences where people just keep you all the way till the end and then they don't need you or they don't want you, and I couldn't choreograph there. Like you had to pay to show choreography. It was crazy, super like
Whoa.
just not a nice lifestyle for an artist, a dancer. So I came over to Europe, and Monica had already moved to the Netherlands at that point. I stayed, we found an artist residency to do for like 3 months, and then I needed to get a visa. So I heard that Berlin was some kind of paradise for artists to get visas and like have a sustainable life. So I took the night bus over from Netherlands and I'm still here 7 years
Wow.
later.
Oh, wow.
amazing.
That's so cool.
I want to ask you guys a couple questions. So I see we have a list of questions that we do want to ask you, and we've kind of we knew we weren't going to stay on track, but the name Hotel Who, how did you come up with that name?
We knew we were gonna make the show, right? But we didn't have a title for it. It was the first one. We didn't have a title. And we knew, like, we basically knew the structure of it. We knew that it would be in a hotel. We knew that we wanted to use some characters from history. We knew that it would be a murder mystery, all of that. And I'm really bad with titles, like really, really, really bad. And I was taking all that information, putting it into a deck, and I just like threw a title in it. And I was like, Angela, okay. And I sent it to her to like review and like also like add stuff and like give her comments on. And the title, I forgot what the title was, but it was so bad. It was really bad. And
It was long as hell. I think it must have been like 5 years or something. And I was like, no, no, absolutely
Someone died here. Is that the title?
no. I can't remember. It was something like spirits something, but I don't remember exactly anyways. But
the spirits like stemware or something, because that was something, it was like an inside joke from something before when we went to Iceland. The spirits like stemware or something like that. I don't know. I was like, I'm really bad with names. I
But
just like,
that's the best part. Like brainstorming really bad names could be so much fun. You don't have
true.
to use any of them. You just like have a good time.
That's
Um,
true.
You know, it's good times.
we don't usually have that much time when we're organizing things. So sometimes we don't get to like enjoy like brainstorming, like fun experience necessarily, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, Monica, do you remember the rest? What happened?
Yeah, so
after?
I sent you this deck, and I think it was called like the spirits like stemware, and you were like, "Is that the name of the show?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know. Do you have any better ideas?" Because like I'm at a loss. I don't really know what to call it. And I was like, and Angela was like, "Well, I feel like it has to be something that is clear, because then if it's just this like random name and you see it pop up somewhere and you want to buy tickets, like you have to like kind of understand and get what, or at least get a gist of it in a couple of seconds to want to read further." And I was like, I don't know, Angela, this is the best I've got. And she was like, okay, let me think of some stuff. And then she's like, what about the Hotel Who? And I was like, actually, and then Angela, I remember you being like, oh, is that stupid or something? Maybe it's stupid. I was like, no, it's not stupid. I love it because who done it? It's at a hotel. It's very clear and it's cute and it's like kind of, it doesn't rhyme, but like it works.
Yeah.
It does work. And I want to
Yeah.
ask, the hotel aspect of it was really important, right? Like you guys wanted to do it at hotels, which definitely piqued our interest, obviously. So
Yeah, I just want to comment on that really quickly. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm not very
no,
good at
it's
interviewing.
okay.
But yeah, like with the hotel thing, we both really love hotels, but like after COVID, we were trying to think of an innovative way to interest a hotel to want to collaborate with us because of the economy that they lost. And we were like, oh yeah, we could do shows there. They're gonna make money, we'll make a show. It's perfect. Plus we love history, we love architecture. Monica's obsessed with architecture. And you know, I also love architecture too, but in different realms. And with the first hotel, we had a list maybe of like 15 hotels. We were just doing cold calls. I called this hotel in the Starbucks of Santa Monica while Monica was at Model Land, her old job. It was the third hotel I called. And it was also like up on the looks of like how we wanted something boutique-y and like this nature, you know, 90 rooms or something like this. Good history. It was built in the like the 20s. And they just totally went for it. I went to look at the hotel. They loved the idea. The owner, we just got this, we were talking about it today. We just got this charm of luck. The owner was also an architect freak. And he loved history and stuff like this. So he really opened his arms to the concept. We didn't even pay to rent the space or anything. You know, we just did the show there, and they just really, they were incredible. And yeah, you know, an amazing manager there that really helped us out a lot too. Let us rehearse there. Was just a really like welcoming. We really got so lucky, honestly. Like it was crazy.
What hotel is this?
The Hotel Normandy.
Oh, the Hotel North. That was your first show.
Yeah.
So you guys have done 4 shows so far? Or 3? 3. Okay. Oh, okay. That's great that you had that.
It was incredible. I mean, for someone who's trying to start a business as a showmaker, I don't really see how better of a way you could have gotten started.
Oh. And it is a
So,
beautiful hotel. It has great history.
yeah, really cool history too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it had these like themed rooms too. I remember when I remember when you went to the hotel, you did this, you did the tour, I think, without me. I was pregnant, by the way, at this time. So
COVID, yeah. So you couldn't come to the tour.
I did get COVID. And so I couldn't go to, yeah, Angela had an appointment to go on this tour. I randomly got COVID. So I was quarantining like at my house. And then I was like, damn, I really want to go on this tour, but I can't. So Angela went and she took videos. And then I remember it was so perfect too, because they have, I think it's 13, 12 themed rooms. So there's like on the second floor, there's a corner, there's a hallway, the hallway turns a corner and it's like this almost like a separate hallway, and the walls are a different color. So I think they were like black or something, different than the rest of the hallway. So you know that that like section, it's like an L shape, is different than all the rest of the hotel. Which the hotel feels like like the hallway feels like a house, like it's very cozy. It doesn't feel like a hotel hallway. Anyway, you turn the corner and all of a sudden like the walls are a different color, and then there's like 12 or 13 themed rooms. So each room is decorated differently, and it ties to the history of the hotel. And they literally look like it looks like a set. It was just amazing. So then Angela, I remember like you toured the rooms. We weren't really 100% sure what we would find because they don't advertise like at least at the time they didn't advertise the themed rooms like so front and center on the website. But we fell in love with like the architecture. The lobby was really beautiful, and like, you know, this whole thing. And Angela called me afterwards. She was like, "Oh my God, they have these themed rooms." And I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, they're themed rooms. I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "There's rooms and they're all different and it looks like a set. They don't look like hotel rooms." I was like, "Really?" And she's like, "And they said we could use it." I was like, "Really?" So it was just like,
Yeah.
and it was so like I've never found that again in a hotel. We would have had to create, it would have been such a huge production to create that on our own and a huge budget that we just don't have. So it was just like this perfect storm of everything that just came. The hotel was really great, but then they had these rooms and we utilized those rooms, and it was really cool because like guests could go in and out. Like they had their own paths, different paths, and they would go in and out of these rooms, and then scenes would unfold and the actors would also like move in and out of the rooms too. And the rooms were so cool. I
want to go and
Yeah.
see. I've been to the lobby and I've been to the roof. I asked the receptionist, I'm like, "Hey, what's on the roof? Is there yoga?" Before the COVID, there was yoga. And he just like showed it to me. I'm like, this is a really cool hotel. It's beautiful.
So have you guys started, I know you're still in the middle of the current one, but have you started brainstorming or planning anything for the next one?
I think right now, at least on my end, we haven't really discussed so much of the creative ideas yet, but we have some possible shows that we haven't confirmed yet for 2024. Recently, it's taken a really great turn where like all of a sudden now people started reaching out to us to create shows at different places, which is amazing. This just started happening this month. So it's really cool. So someone reached out to us to create something in New York, and so we might do that. We have
very cool.
I'll come.
I know, really cool. Maybe another one in Santa Monica as well in 2024, and then we're working on maybe also doing one in Berlin.
Yeah, I guess Hotel Who is moving to Europe.
Yeah, it's like halfway moving because we also have like a good, like we have a stage manager, production manager combination and LA that's really great. So we want to figure out ways to navigate both places, and we want to stay international. It's always kind of our goal, I think.
Yeah.
Essentially. But
so you're basically creating a global phenomenon. That's what we're seeing here is the birth of this global phenomenon.
Just to cover some extra, like I want to go over some questions. What about hotels do you love? Because since, you guys have done it in hotels, this is a hotel podcast. What are your favorite hotels? And we recently, I don't know if you guys listened to our recent episodes about like haunted or spooky hotels, but I happened to ask Dieta a question in the middle of our podcast, and I'm like, we are going to ask you guys as well. Which hotel or place would you haunt if you were a ghost?
Ooh. I can start with, at least on my side, what I love about hotels. I love there's so much about hotels that I love, but like from an experiential standpoint, I love showing up to a hotel and knowing that like we used to call it princess days, Angela and I. Like it just feels like I feel like such a princess. So I go to a hotel, I'm there, everything. I mean, if it's certain hotels, like it's very grand. You get a room and like there are things in your room. And if you like, you just get treated so nicely at, nice hotels. And there's always like a bathtub typically, or we always try to find a hotel room with a bathtub. So you can take a nice bubble bath and then the bed's always made. And it just feels like, I don't know, it feels really lush and nice. And I feel like a princess. I love that. But I do really love historical hotels, and I love when I'm not really into like modern hotels, so I like whatever about those, but historical hotels, I love, of course, the architecture. I love hotels that make spaces feel cozy and that feel like a home away from home. And I love that when you're at a hotel, it's just that moment in time that you can just kind of pause and just enjoy the space that you're in, or at least in my experience with them. It's also really like, it's also an interesting experience that like there's other people that are there too. So it's also cool that there's just so many stories that like that people are holding in historical hotels have their own stories, but then all the people that are passing through, or have passed through or passed through with you, like, if you, I mean, there's so much, there's this movie called Four Rooms that I'm obsessed with. One of my favorite movies, and it takes place on like New Year's Eve, and it's at a hotel, and there are four different rooms where four different stories are taking place at once, basically, and it's by four different directors. And I just love the idea that like you can walk down a hallway and there's people in these rooms, and there's like all these different stories happening at the same time, and stories that have happened through the years. And yeah, it's really cool.
No, that's what we love about it, is that I don't think there's a place quite like hotels.
Well, I think what Monica is saying too is like it's a little bit of this like arrival departure thing. And I feel like when I was younger, I used to have the same feeling about airports, like maybe like before COVID or something, where it's like this unique space of where people are like arriving and departing constantly. And then like in hotel lobbies, essentially it's the same. Like even at the Biltmore, we were able to stay over there overnight a couple of nights, and I was in the gallery bar, and just like the people, I was having a drink in the gallery bar, and the people that come and go into this gallery bar, it's just like it's really interesting, the combinations of people that you see. And I'm like a huge people watcher, so I think that's kind of a little bit of the fascination. But I just find something interesting about this like arrival departure situation. And I don't know, I used to like more boutique hotels before, but now that I live in Germany for so long and my apartment is so old, I do kind of like this new hotel thing now, because it's just like, oh, it's so nice to be somewhere like clean.
Brand new.
That's true.
Yeah, like new. But yeah, I don't know. As far as like favorite hotels, I can't really like spontaneously say one off the top of my head, to be honest, because I don't really have that kind of archive of them necessarily. But I just feel like, yeah, it's a nice place to go. You have an experience there. And then why not mix that with some theater, because you're already having like an experience essentially.
Yeah, there's also like the theater of the people, right? Like the like when you're talking about people watching, right? Like that's also theatrical too. You're just watching all these people coming and going, and like and people kind of sometimes will just be in their own bubble. Like sometimes I have a memory of sitting somewhere and someone walking in pissed off and yelling, and then someone else walking in like really in love, probably celebrating something, or so it's really cool to see. I have a favorite hotel,
Ooh,
but
which one?
It's called Hotel Suquet. It's in Paris. I think you guys would really like it. It's so cool. It's super historical. It used to be a brothel. I don't
Already
remember.
love it.
Yeah. On
I
board.
can't remember what year. I figure, yeah, you two would love it. I remember like I started listening to an episode, I forgot which one, and I was like, oh, I have to tell them about Hotel Suquet. I don't remember a lot of the history, so I might be wrong, but I think that it's called Hotel Suquet because the madam that ran the brothel, her name was Madame Suquet. And I think it's from the 1700s, but I could be wrong about like if it's the 17th century or the 18th century. I can't really remember, but it's old. Um, it's beautiful. It's also like a type of interior design that is probably very, very Parisian. Like the room and all the rooms are also named after women that worked there.
Ah,
Which is which is really cool. Super small. Um, and it's designed like it's reimagined as it would have been back when it was originally open. And there's
I
like a
love
really
when they do that.
yeah, really cool. And like the room that we were in was like it was like a jewel box. It was like small but so cozy. And I think if I remember, like it was either wallpaper, it was like burgundy and gold, and it would normally be really dark, but it didn't feel dreary. It felt so like Parisian and night. We went there on our baby moon. It was
Oh,
amazing. So
sounds
I was like,
really
it's the one hotel that comes to mind that I'm like, I will always remember this hotel forever.
You gotta write that down.
Yeah, oh yeah, I am definitely am.
Okay, that's a good.
That's a very good
answer.
hotel. So where would you guys haunt if you were ghosts?
Hotels, like what I mean, I also
Anywhere.
sorry, I forgot about the hotel. Like, let's just forget. I'm sorry. I was thinking I'm getting tired, so I was like, my brain's a little bit flighty now. Let's not forget about the hotel that The Shining was filmed at, which Monica and I are equally obsessed. This is my favorite
Ooh.
movie, and yeah, I used to watch it. I literally used to watch this movie as a kid by myself, like into my teenage years. That's like my favorite movie. Something's been wrong with me since a young age. But yeah, like I would definitely haunt this hotel, and I also would probably I forget what it's called right now because I'm having a brain fart. Do you remember what this hotel is called that The Shining was filmed at?
I don't remember, but I do think of instances where I've texted you and you're like, I'm like, what are you doing? And you're like, I'm watching The Shining on my own.
It's is it in Colorado or Wyoming?
Yeah, it's in Colorado.
Colorado. Okay.
Um,
Yeah, we
Yeah.
want to cover that hotel.
yeah, it's on the top. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of it.
It's also
Yeah,
where
we're
Dumb and Dumber
there.
was filmed.
Really?
And yeah, and Jim Carrey, I think, stayed there and had some like spooky experience.
Is that the Stanley?
Yes,
I
it's
think
the
it's the
Stanley.
Yeah.
Yes, it's definitely the Stanley. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. And then I'm not a hotel, but a castle. I really love this castle that Disney actually designed their castle off of called the Neuschwanstein. That's what it's called. And because we also like castles, so I would love to do something there. And I would equally love to haunt it.
Yeah. We know, well, not to make it about me, but my favorite hotel is the Plaza. And I want to connect that Disney thing that you said is that they had murals in their oak room that are of that castle. And when Disney went
Crazy.
there, he was inspired. That's the rumor so it all comes
Yeah.
together. Yeah.
The murals in that castle are insane. Like it's crazy. It's just
I mean,
yeah.
castles are crazy. Like, who makes
Yeah.
a castle anymore?
It's
I'm gonna build a castle.
Yeah, I want to make a show there really bad, and it's
Oh yeah, that would be.
I'd go to that.
incredible.
Yeah, we would make the trip overseas for that.
There's also a really great haunted story about Ludwig Spy. That was the one who built the castle. Like he was murdered, and they never knew how. Basically, so the
Ooh.
plot is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys
If
won't have to do. Yeah, you won't have to come up with nearly as much when you have a history like that to work with.
You know what I wanted to mention before the last question? But first, wait, do you know where you would want to haunt?
I was thinking about that, and this is going to be a really boring answer, but I think I would just haunt my favorite hotel, the Madame Souquet, because it's amazing. It's just like you have to look at pictures. It's phenomenal. Also, they have like a really cool they have like a spa. It's not really a spa. It's like an indoor pool that's like in the basement. But with like a sauna and like a steam room. It's like very, very, and if you stay at the hotel, you can also have access to that privately. We stayed for one night because it's expensive, and we were like, okay, this is gonna be our one big splurge. So I think as a ghost, I would want to swim like whenever I wanted.
Like
In a
Moaning
private,
Myrtle?
huh? Like Myrtle, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But also,
I,
like, if you're going to be a ghost in a place that's already haunted, you want interesting ghosts to be around. And so, yeah, the women who used to work there, I'm sure would keep you entertained. So,
I think so. I think they'd be really fun also.
yeah, it's going to be a good time. So,
I think it'd be a really good time. I think they'd have a lot of interesting stories. Also the lounge is just like the lounge and where you have breakfast. It's just all so cozy and there's carpeting everywhere. I think as a ghost, I want luxury and I'd like to be comfortable.
comfortable afterlife. That's not too much to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Good one. Yeah. Okay, you guys have good answers for
Yeah,
that.
I had zero answer, and yeah, you just completely
I
put
still
me to
haven't
shame.
had an answer. I'm gonna get back to you in a few years.
Okay, so as we wrap up, the current Hotel Who is running through November 18th. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and where can everyone go to get tickets?
We're selling tickets through our website, www.thehotelwho.com. And then there's a link to go to our Ticket Leap page where you can purchase both standard and premium tickets. Basically, the difference is that the premium ticket comes with food and the standard ticket does not. And there's also a 1 hour start difference. There's 3 more shows. So there's not a lot of chances left.
So yeah, and before this leaves LA for a little while too. So you really want to see it while you can. And then what's the dress code?
Dress code is 1930s themed. We're encouraging guests to dress 1930s so they can enter the world as much as possible. Of course, adding on additional things to your 1930s costume to go with your characters, your
always
choice.
appreciated. I mean, Violet the pilot. I love Violet the pilot showed up in a pilot suit. It was amazing. There's another character that was like I think he's a butcher. And he showed up in a butcher apron on Friday. So we love. I mean, it's always so cool. And also it's a way that like when you meet other people meet each other at the show. So it's a way for people to be able to remember like, oh, the pilot. I mean, you don't have to, but it's really cool when people do that. So
it's commit.
Yeah, everybody that when we went was dressed to the nines. So like, don't be afraid to commit to your character because everyone else is doing it too. It's really it makes it so much more fun.
I mean, you got to be a nerd. You got to dedicate.
Yeah.
If you're going to this, you're not going to be like, whatever, And you could tell it was so nice. I loved it. And where can people reach you on social media?
Our Instagram account is called The Hotel Who. And we also have TikTok called The Hotel Who.
Yes.
Nice. I tagged you guys in the video on TikTok as well. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't see. We have to get better at TikTok, so we haven't checked it.
Yeah, no, I'm not great at it. I'm trying. And one more question before we go. So far, which is your favorite event that you put on?
Well,
go ahead. You answer first.
I think we're gonna have different answers because Angela isn't here, so she hasn't been at this one physically, because she's in Berlin. So I mean, Angela's seen a lot. Like I try to record as much as I can and show her everything. Like look at everything coming to life that we've created. So I think it might be a different answer, but for me, my favorite is this one, because I think that like in the creation of this one, we've learned so much. So I had a really fun I had a lot of fun creating it with Ange. The one thing I did miss though is Ange, you being here and like being here physically. We did choreograph together like over video, and while Angela was in Florida, which was really cool. It's the first time we've done it that way. Because we normally do it in the studio together, and we love that part of the process. So I did miss having Ange here physically, but I would say that this show is my favorite because the space is really cool. It's really intimate. I also love seeing people's faces when they come to the space and they're like, it's just like it's a crazy house or castle. And like from the moment people show up, they look up at this like huge castle on a hill and everyone just goes whoa, and then I just like love seeing everyone so stunned by this place. And then there's like a spiral staircase, there's like a secret door, and like people go through that, and I just love seeing like the awe in people's faces when they do that. And yeah, so this one's my favorite because also like there's just a lot that we've learned from the first two that made the process really smooth for this. And so when things are smooth, you can just kind of enjoy. So I've been floating around, pretending like I'm, one of the house staff of the the castle. And I've been able to watch a lot more with this one too, because it was so much more smooth in the process through everything we learned.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, actually, I also agree with Monica. This one is also my favorite. For me, it's not, of course, obvious. I think also for Monica, it's not just about the show, but it's about like the experience of organizing the show, the people that we're working with, just the everything. So much more than just the show. And yeah, in the first show, we really had a hard time with the cast. It was really difficult. We didn't really connect so well to them, and we were also nervous, so we weren't as confident in what we were doing. And the second show, it was just a huge show. It was just so much going on, and it was just a lot. It was a long run, so it was a long-term project. And then now with this show, also, yeah, I think we've gotten better at communicating in a work atmosphere together and building together, because of course, we've been friends for 15 years, but we have not worked in the same way, although we've created work during this 15-year period. And I feel like now it can only just go up from here, because we're really starting to understand like what works and what doesn't work. And yeah, so right now I agree that this show is my favorite, although I was not there for the process necessarily. And I think it also just, I mean, I was in Florida, so the time change wasn't as bad. And yeah, it was fun.
I'm glad we got to go to the best one.
Me too. I wish we could have gone to the others too. Yeah. I'm not going to lie, but.
Well, thank you so much for.
Thank you.
Just
thank you.
answering our email.
Yes, thank you.
Letting us go to
sorry we took a little, like we're really like, it's just, we get lost sometimes. So I'm sorry that we took a little bit longer to respond, but
it's okay.
We really are.
You had a lot going on.
I'm just saying in general, like that you guys are open to this and that you're willing to come on and talk to us and collaborate and invite us. And like, we really, really appreciate it. And we're excited for the next one. I'm going to make sure I come to all of them. Even if it's in Europe.
Yeah, if we have to go to Europe, we will. Thanks for listening to Hotel History. You can follow us on most social media platforms, Patreon, and Substack by searching for Hotel History or Hotel History Podcast. If you like what you hear, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify so we can reach more listeners.